Madam Chairman, Marty, ladies and gentlemen, when I heard that introduction, I found myself in the position in which I once was at a reception where a lady came up to me and said, "I understand you're a fascinating man," she said. Fascinate me. It turned into one of the less successful conversations that I've had. It means a great deal to me to be permitted to come here on the 25th anniversary of a president whom I was honored to serve, and of a man who is one of the best friends I've ever had. President Ford came into office at one of the most tragic moments in American history. It was the first time a president resigned in office. It was the first time that the country had been torn apart since the Civil War on an impeachment proceeding. And that occurred after a near decade of the Vietnam tragedy and crisis. He took over a demoralized government, represented this country to an uncertain world, and he had not been elected to that office, the first time that that had occurred in American history. But he took over these responsibilities with the humanity, the serenity, and the matter-of-factness which characterized all of his conduct. He restored faith within the government, faith of the American people into the government, and faith of the rest of the world in the possibility that America could fulfill its obligations. All of this was done with a calm and as I said, serenity that is very difficult to come by in anybody's life, and exceptionally rare amidst the pressures of Washington. It was a great honor to be able to work with him. And he remained my friend all the years since then. We have served on boards together. We talk on the telephone frequently. In fact, I talked to him last Sunday, which was not the best judgment I ever made when I called him, because he was watching a football game. And I regret to report this. He got me off the phone fairly rapidly. So thank you, Marty, for giving me this opportunity. And let me talk to you about the problems of foreign policy as I see them now. You know, I came to this country nearly 70 years ago as a young boy. I had lived in a dictatorship, and I had seen what oppression could be like. And so, all during the periods of crises in which I served, I confess I sometimes was a little impatient with some of the critics, not of the content of what we did, which is what democracy is about, but the assault on fundamental American purposes. Because I saw in my life what America meant to people who were in the position in which I found myself. So you have to consider what I say, always influenced by the fact that I want America to stay strong in this world, and that I don't happily join discussions about how we could mitigate defeats. One may have to do that sometimes, but one has to look at it from the point of view of what I consider our necessities in this world. And it's from this point of view that I want to discuss some of the contemporary problems with you. And then in the question period, you can ask me about any aspect of it or anything that I didn't cover. And I've told Mrs. Didier not to screen out unfriendly questions, recognizing the fact that in Grand Rapids, I may not get all that many unfriendly questions. But so, for hospitality's sake, throw in a few unfriendly ones so that I feel that she's really not let me down by being too polite. Now, we've been, as a country, since September 11th, 2001, we've been very conscious of the phenomenon of terrorism. And the phenomenon of terrorism isn't just violent acts for their own purpose, but they reflect a strategy by which radicals, mostly in the Islamic world, are trying to undermine confidence in the institutions of the societies that they object to. And those societies have ranged from Bali in Indonesia to Muslim countries like Tunisia, Morocco, and Saudi Arabia, and Turkey, to European countries like Spain and England, and potentially affect countries like India that have very large Islamic populations. And I want to make clear, I'm not talking about the populations. I'm talking about the violent, radical elements among these populations. Now, in the course of this summer, we experienced a new phenomenon. We've been thinking of terrorists as people who hide in the population, emerge to do their violent acts, and then disappear again.